In the year 1857, India was under the rule of the British East India Company. The East India Company was established in India for the purpose of trading in Indian spices and textiles, but as time passed, they began to expand their power and influence in the country. The company's policies and practices had long been a cause of discontent among the Indian soldiers or sepoys in their army. Little did the company know that a spark would ignite a mutiny that would threaten their rule in India. The story begins in Meerut, a city in the state of Uttar Pradesh, in northern India, on May 10, 1857. Sepoys of the 3rd Bengal Light Cavalry, a unit of the East India Company's army, were angry and resentful of their British officers. The reason behind this was the new Enfield rifles that they were issued. The cartridges for these rifles were greased with animal fat which was made from beef and pork. The cartridges had to be bitten to remove the cover before loading the rifle. The use of animal fat was considered sacrilegious by the Hindus and Muslims, and the sepoys were convinced that the British were trying to convert them to Christianity. The sepoys, led by a soldier named Mangal Pandey, decided to take matters into their own hands. On the evening of May 10, 1857, Mangal Pandey and his comrades rebelled against their British officers. They marched towards the main bazaar of Meerut, and in the chaos that followed, they attacked and killed several British officers and their families. The mutiny quickly spread to other parts of India. Delhi became the center of the rebellion. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, who was living in Delhi, was declared the leader of the rebellion. Indian soldiers and civilians joined forces and began attacking and killing British officials and civilians. In retaliation, the British forces under General Sir Colin Campbell laid siege to Delhi. The siege lasted for months, and after a fierce battle, the British forces were able to capture the city. The Mughal emperor was captured and exiled to Rangoon, where he died in 1862. The rebellion continued in other parts of India, and the British forces had a tough time suppressing it. The British forces, led by General Henry Havelock, were finally able to defeat the rebels in Lucknow. The Battle of Lucknow was a turning point in the rebellion, and after this battle, the rebellion began to lose momentum. The Sepoy Mutiny of 1857 had far-reaching consequences. It shook the British rule in India and led to the end of the East India Company's rule in India. The British Crown took over the administration of India from the East India Company, and the country became a British colony. In conclusion, the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857 was a watershed moment in Indian history. It was a revolt against the British rule and a struggle for Indian independence. The rebellion failed, but it paved the way for future independence movements in India. The mutiny also exposed the cultural and religious differences between the Indian soldiers and their British officers, which had long been brewing under the surface. The Sepoy Mutiny was a defining moment in Indian history that shaped the course of the country's future.